Alrighty. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon, good morning, good evening. This is DSP News, the unreliable ones. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the newsroom and welcome to the Goutopia News Network, your unreliable source for DSP News. This is the Snort Report brought to you by SnortBucks Coffee Company, the best beverage company. Let's go. So, in our current timeline, ladies and gentlemen, DSP is still MIA. Today is like day 4, day 5 or something like that. Detractor Twitter is up in is laughing more than anything for a couple of different reasons. We may speak on that later. So that's a thing. I had a stream with Agent Proper last night, I believe, which great time and whatnot. It's always a pleasure speaking to Proper. A bunch of people showed up. That was cool. And whatnot, and big ups, and look forward to the next one. Like I said, there'll be a test stream on the streaming channel, and then the next time we stream over here, it should be a bit I should have things in order. So when it comes to like the audio issues, for example, that's on me. So my fault. Like I said, it was a test stream and whatnot. I should have the kinks worked out the next time around. With that being said, though, now that I've made my apologies, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to, if the title hasn't given me away yet, we're going to talk a little bit about Darksydephil reminiscing about editing videos and KOGaming, which is hilarious because has a long history of bitching and complaining about having to edit videos. So that's the thing. So should be a fun little tidbit. So let's go ahead and get ourselves appropriated right and going into one of my favorite segments. Hopefully one of your favorite segments, ladies and gentlemen. And because by the time you guys see this, Phil should be back in the mix. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my TED Talk. So, I mean, I guess besides DSP being missing, DSP talking about fucking KOGaming and editing videos are bullshit, because if you love the damn thing so much, you would have kept doing it. If you cared about KOGaming so much, the moment you had that viral video, which was basically his one-hit wonder for that channel, which was Homefront Revolution, he would have better prepared himself and the channel instead of going on staycation right away for the little $3,000 or $4,000 he made off that video. He would have had a bunch of videos banked up, or he would have tried to continue KOGaming's momentum and then take some time off. But because DSP has always styled himself as such a king, and because success and wins are few and far between, as all of you may know, he decided to go ahead and flex right away. Comes back and the channel's basically lagging along, and then he's starting to get more and more frustrated on why he's not getting that quote-unquote viral success that the Homefront video got. And let me be very clear about this too, and I'm sure you can verify this with Tevin, Theo, Secret Limited, Agent Proper, anybody who's been around at that time. The reason why that video succeeded the way it did is because a much larger content creator had also had their gripes about Homefront Revolution, and they had actually used the portion of DSP's video in their video, and then they did his ass a solid by linking his video in the description. That's where the majority of his traffic came from. So truth be told, when we go back and we look at Homefront, the Revolution, it's really a 60 to 180,000 view video. If it wasn't for that other YouTuber who boosted it, whose name escapes me at the moment, and trust me, I've been trying to find this video. It was a long time ago. But the person who helped signal boost that video, if it wasn't for them, it would have never have crawled to a million views. Which it took some time for it to get there too, by the way. It didn't happen all overnight like he makes it sound. It took some time for that to happen. Matter of fact, while he was on staycation, he was obsessively looking at YouTube to see where it was going, like how, like what its momentum looked like, which would make his dumbass think, well, you know what, man, if I had banked up a couple more videos, I could have followed that upload with a few other uploads to continue to, to continue the flow of viewership to that channel, right? With the payoff being the Homefront video. So yeah, we want this Homefront video to get 1 million views or more, but while the channel has all this traction, let's put up some other stuff, because like YouTube is like anything else. it's a Johnny come lately type situation. What have you done for me lately? Whatever he had on there before Homefront, well and good. But people really care about what's going to come after that Homefront video. What's coming up next? What's coming down the pipeline? And he never learned that lesson. And that's why he failed. And that's why he continues to keep failing. That's why he keeps guerrilla uploading, if you will, onto DSP Gaming now, hoping that he can get that one video that may get some traction, and then people will go back and look at all of the other stuff. The channel's so discombobulated, there's not enough time to do so. His playlists are a joke. You know how hard it is to find a playlist on DSP Gaming? It's not as easy as he makes it sound, because all of his playlists are fucking discombobulated and shit. And no one wants to go up there to that additional filter and go through fucking, you know, dates posted or whatever, and no one got time for that. You need a bit of easy accessibility. And he himself, being special needs, he should understand that. People want convenience, right? People want convenience, they want ease of use, and they want accessibility. You would think the way he wants his life to be comfortable and easy and no stress, other people would maybe have a similar way of thinking about it. Semantics. In any case, we're going to go through this video here, and this was cut up by Diggs before he went on vacation. So it should be good. It should be good. It shouldn't be one of the usual dump trucks that I put out there. And we'll have a fun time with it. With that being said, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. And let's go ahead and move forward positively with our video. Coffee shop sounds good. And let's see if we can find this video. I got a bunch of them logged in here, which just goes to show how far behind I am. Okay, so let's see. Let's pop that there.
J. Kuma, I've told you about this. Listen, I enjoyed editing.
Shut your silly ass up. You know what? Give me just a second. Okay, and I'm back. Now, for you guys, that was probably literally a second or two. For me, it was like 10 minutes because I'm silly. Anyway, let's see if we actually did it right this time.
J. Kuma, I've told you.
I think we have. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Despite the ease of use that the people here at GTG Network and Productions make it for me, I, like Phil, have still figured out a way to fuck things up. Didn't do it on purpose, I swear. Anywho, ladies and gentlemen, we are here with, let's see. All right, we are here, ladies and gentlemen. Bam. I swear I lose my head if I fucking didn't have the shit attached. But which head, though? Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we're here with ReACK. Big ups to ReACK. Let's see, and let's see. DSP speaks on edited videos and KOGaming. This was from June 16th of 2025, our current year of failure in Gout. And that's the thing. Big ups to Diggs for the cut. All right, I've held you guys up long enough. Let's go ahead and get it. Here we go.
J. Kuma, I've told you about this. Listen, I enjoyed editing videos when I edited them. I did. I had a lot of fun doing it. The problem is it's very time consuming.
You know what's hilarious, actually? I just thought about this. DSP spends more time trying to convince you of his enjoyment or appreciation or his skill or passion and shit than actually displaying it. Look at his face. Like, I want you to, let's go back, actually. Let me bring this back for you guys, and I want you to just see, don't listen so much to what he's saying, but look at how he expresses himself as he's saying it.
You need... J. Kuma, I've told you about this. Listen, I enjoyed editing videos when I edited them. I did. I had a lot of fun doing it. The problem is it's very time consuming.
No shit. Like anything in life, it requires some level of effort, and it's going to take time. With that being said, and going back to my original point, he says all of these things while he has this dead fish face. Now, I don't know if that's what he sees when, you know what I'm saying, Kat lays down on the bed and is ready to kind of go through her marital duties or whatever. I don't know. But what I do know is, do you see really any passion or expression in his face when you really think about it? And don't get me wrong, you know what I'm saying, I'm shit at editing, so I really don't count. But as in for people who I've spoken to who edit, it's a tedious situation, right? But you do it because you do enjoy it. On top of the fact that if you're really good, you can make a whole shitload of money. And one of the few not exchanges, but interactions I've had with John Swan, like, the guy is clearly very passionate about the shit, hence the reason why he does what he does. But even then, he was far more expressive about it than fucking DSP is. So what you say is one thing, but how you appear to people, especially if you're on camera, is another. And that's the one thing socially that he never seems to understand. He spends more time trying to sound the part than actually look the part. And that's equally as important. You would think that for someone who's obsessed with being on camera all the time. But whatever. Here we go.
You need to do a lot of work for edited videos. You need to record voiceovers. You need to find the right clips that showcase what you're talking about. So you have to have them transition into each other with all kinds of different effects and things. You have to learn how to do the text and effects on the text properly, all this stuff, right? And I was decent at it like 9 years ago, and I had a whole channel based on it, and it did well, and I had a million.
And his edits were shit then, and they were shit now. And keep in mind, this is the same ass clown who said the reason why he couldn't succeed in edited content is because, one, all these other people were coming in. They had the teams of people around them who had professional training and this, that, and the third, which is fucking retarded because it's clearly not true. People learned how to use, what is that? Fucking, oh my gosh, sorry. People learned how to use Premiere. People learned how to use Vista. People learned how to use all these different editing softwares in the way they did. Let me give you an example. Someone who has one of the cleanest ass edits and whatnot, he does Yu-Gi-Oh shit. It's a DP Yu-Gi-Oh. You know what I'm saying? Every once in a while, he throws out a DSP meme too in his stuff. It's pretty funny. But anyway, DP Yu-Gi-Oh talks about Yu-Gi-Oh cards and different effects and how they work together and shit. Like, it's great stuff. I've been watching that guy for a long time. Back when that dude used to be outside, he used to film his videos under this particular tree and shit, or when he was doing it on the stoop. So that shows you how much of a fan I am. In any case, over the years, his editing has gotten cleaner and cleaner and cleaner, and he's learned how to use different effects in combination with different effects to make shit happen. If I get a chance, I'll see if I can find a clip if you guys don't know who this guy is, and I'll also link his channel down in the description. If you guys are in the Yu-Gi-Oh cards and just how stuff works, you should check him out. And his editing is clean as hell, and it's fast paced because the dude's videos are only like between 1.5 minutes and like 3 minutes, maybe 4, and whatnot. I stream sometimes too. But his editing is clean as hell. And when I found out the video software he was using, and you go in and you kind of take a look at it, he really had to learn the ins and outs to kind of make that work. And you can also tell that it's something that he's still working on. You know what I'm saying? It's a sword that he's still sharpening, if you will. So, you know, it's one of those things. Like, you get out of what you put in. And if DSP has always needed everything to work preschool style, or yeah, preschool style, let's say that. He needs everything to be kid-friendly out the box. You know what I mean? Anything else that requires a lick of effort, he can't do it. He doesn't have the time, he doesn't have the manpower, he doesn't have any of that. And that's one of his fundamental problems. That's why he failed, to be honest with you. Just because he lingers around, because he begs day in, day out, doesn't mean that he succeeded. It just means that he's been able to exist. He's not surviving. He's just existing. And that's what everything he does. And as I've told you, the way DSP does anything is the way DSP does everything. And it only makes sense. It's the same ass clown who sat there and complained about eating chicken off the bone because it requires too much effort. He needs his chicken nuggies or his chicken tenders without the fuss. What does that tell you? Don't get me wrong, I like chicken tenders and shit too, but man, I gotta tell you, I'm all about my wings, so don't get it twisted. Anywho, here we go.
View video and
now that I think about it, right, let me be petty for a minute. What is the difference, really, between a boneless wing and a nugget? It's theoretically the same damn thing. Okay, I'm just being petty as hell now. Let's move on. Let's move on. I never understood that. Yeah, you heard it. There you go.
everything was going good. And then like this, YouTube demonetized the whole channel.
He's got no proof or no evidence of any of that. I guarantee you he's lying. Here's what happened. And I've said this before, but here's what happened. Homefront Revolution hit the fucking streets of Goutopia. That shit was like fire. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, he thought it was because of his own effects. He'll never acknowledge that a much larger YouTuber basically signal boosted that shit for him. He thought he had hit pay dirt, and he thought every edited piece of content after the fact would have to have that same would meet that same plateau, or at least similar to it. And that's not what happened. That's literally not what happened. And that's because he squandered away the momentum. YouTube waits for nobody. I mean, life in general waits for nobody. So those 4 days or 5 days that he was gone, I think it was like 4 days, 3 nights, whatever. The amount of time that he took off is basically when he killed his momentum. By every hour that he missed, that he wasn't capitalizing and he wasn't doing what he needed to do to bring more exposure to his channel, he let himself be taken over by the algorithm. And then he keeps saying, oh, well, I got demonetized, or the channel, KOGaming, got demonetized, which is weird because you're saying that the channel got demonetized, but then every time DSPGAMING got in trouble, you ran to KOGaming. He didn't run the King of Hate vlogs, which is now DSP Reacts. He ran right to KOGaming. When he ended up getting hit off of Twitch that first time, or no, when DSPGAMING got demonetized. This is when he was still on Twitch. He didn't go to KOGaming. I mean, he didn't go to King of Hate vlogs. I'm sorry. He went to KOGaming, and he chilled there to get his little ad revenue. You know, remember his little $10 a day for his uploads, and that's not enough, and he can't survive like that despite he was making all that money on Twitch. Semantics. He went ahead and did that. You know what I'm saying? When he got in trouble on Twitch and he needed a place to stream or whatever, he didn't go to King of Hate vlogs. He went to KOGaming. He always went to KOGaming when DSPGAMING or They Call Me DSP on Twitch got in trouble. But I thought the channel was demonetized though. So it's funny and convenient that you couldn't use KOGaming at all when your quote unquote edited style videos weren't hitting no more. But the moment you got into some real trouble with some of your other channels or your primary channel, that's the first place you went. So was it really demonetized, or were you just demotivated because you saw your failure for what it was? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. He had a channel that had what? I think at its peak, KOGaming had like 50,000 views or 50,000 subs or something like that. Maybe between 45 and 50,000 subs. Let's say something like that. I might be being generous. I've been accused of that. And I don't know, videos were pulling 15,000, I guess between 10 and 15,000 views, give or take. But it wasn't that million, that million views that home front revolution brought in. See what I mean now? You see the picture that I'm trying to paint? But whatever, he'll always fall back on that demonetization shit. But yet he can't show you a lick of proof. He has no evidence to back any of that up. Oh, these videos that I've put out are just as good as the home front video, but the views aren't there, and I'm not making the money off ad revenue. Oh, YouTube fucked him. And that's always been his excuse about YouTube since day one. Whenever something doesn't go right, or something doesn't go the way he wants it to go, or he thinks it should go, it's YouTube's fault. So what's the difference? Something about. And one more thing. If it's true that KOGaming got demonetized, why didn't he fight to get it remonetized again then? Something to think about.
So because of that, the channel fell apart, and I was like, I'm not going to put time into this anymore, and I became a full-time streamer instead.
It sounds like a quitter if you ask me. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like he's a quitter. It sounds like he failed. He couldn't accept that he failed. Blame YouTube, go to streaming, and beg. That's what it sounds like. Not to say that he wasn't begging when he was on YouTube, but you get what I mean.
And I've been doing good. So the problem with that is it would take so much time for me, all right, to basically do those kind of videos because there's so much effort that needs to go into them for them.
And here's another thing this fucking tard don't tell you. Why didn't he just have Panda edit the videos for him? Why didn't he, or why doesn't he ask Kat to edit the videos for him? Isn't that crazy? How he's had 2 women in his life. One who did YouTube basically because of him. Another one who was doing YouTube before they even met, and she was streaming. And he never figured out that, hey, maybe I could ask them to help me with some of my content to make it better. He only brought them on to exploit them. And then one leaves him and possibly cheated. And then the other one just, I guess, went into her fat boo form, I guess. I don't know. She went through a metamorphosis, whatever. I don't know. The reincarnation of Roseanne, I suppose. I don't know. The point being is that she ain't sat there and metamorphed into whatever she morphed into. and didn't get anything out of it because he's too lazy, he's too stupid, and he's too short-sighted to see that, hey, I have these people around me who have experience and may be willing to help me. So why not utilize it? He'll utilize these dents and pedophiles around him for all kinds of shit, but not the women that are in his house. Make it make sense.
To be good, I'd have to stop streaming as much. That's what I did back then. I did one stream a day. That was it. I did one stream of gameplay, and then at night, I never streamed. Instead, I was working on these videos. Okay?
When he could have spent those nights dealing with Cat, or not dealing with Cat, hanging out with Panda. Another thing, too, and this goes back to Street Fighter V, actually, to be honest with you. When he was supposed to do Project 7, gave that shit up to go ahead and pursue Street Fighter V because he thought it was going to be the second coming of Super Turbo. It wasn't. And all that talk about editing videos and putting all this stuff together in the second and third that was supposed to lead up to Street Fighter V's launch, all that shit got trashed. All that shit went right into the dumpster with the dead hamsters. And where was all that at?
Downloadable content.
Yes, into next week, because next week is the big release of the Street Fighter V beta, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But let's go through this week day by day so you guys know what to expect, okay?
Fun fact, he canceled Project 7 because of the Street Fighter V beta release, which is really, really awkward. I kind of wanted to watch the weekend preview after he canceled Project 7, but I didn't want to put that much thought into it. Sorry. So yeah, we're here. When I saw the Shades thumbnail, I said, well, I got to do that as the second video.
So Monday of this week, I am going to be doing my first game.
Long story short, he was lying about working on Project 7, straight up, full stop. He was lying about working on it in videos. He didn't make videos because he said he was working on it. He was on Twitter bragging about working on Project 7. And then the Street Fighter V beta came out, and he knew when it was coming out. It was a predetermined thing. It didn't actually shadow drop. Allegedly, I don't know. I'm saying allegedly for no fucking reason. I'm watching a video of DSP telling me the beta coming out next week. Now, maybe another beta already happened, and I might be wrong, so I'm not going to fixate on that too much. But long story short, he was lying straight up about working on Project 7. The Street Fighter V beta came out, and he said, oh my God, the planets align. People want me to play games. They're saying, Phil, you gotta play more games. And wow, man, maybe I can play Street Fighter V and come back in a big way. And then he canceled Project 7 and then hated Street Fighter V more than any game I think he ever hated. So that's pretty cool.
Play stream the
and guess what? He never brought back Project 7 a decade later. Why would he do that? That's stupid. That's in the past.
Continuation of Yakuza 4.
It was in the past in 2015.
Obviously I apologize to everyone who wanted to see this game and it was on hold for so long. I am pushing forward with several streams of this every week from now on, and it's no exception this week. Tomorrow, a 3-hour stream, and later in this week I will try to do another 3-hour stream of Yakuza 4, okay?
Wow.
Second stream tomorrow.
Something about
it's just too much. I can't only stream once a day and make a living. I'll lose half my revenue. So I can't do it, you know? Listen, I enjoy doing it. There's definitely people who are good at it, but I'm not going to put all my eggs in one basket and put all that effort in and then just have YouTube cut my legs out from under me because they decide to demonetize something. Fuck that shit.
Remember, DSP is a pathological liar. So the whole YouTube did this, YouTube did that makes a lot of sense if you look at him through that scope or through that lens, because he'll never admit that he just failed the channel. He'll never admit that, oh, the first one-hit wonder that I got off that, my first hit single, if you will, in the KOGaming catalog, I immediately decided to go on vacation and spend all that money and shit, flexing on my haters basically, you know, every night and shit, and then came back and realized, holy fuck, I may have screwed my momentum up. He'll never admit that. But then again, this is the same ass clown who, while he got married, or the night that he got married, he's on Twitter and Instagram arguing about why he's not getting ass pats and fucking deleting comments and all this silly ass shit. So there's that too.
Build a Rocket Boy did a $5 super chat and said, how many goals hit today for you to return to Mind's Eye because no one else is playing our game? Well, I know that you're not actually the official channel for Build a Rocket Boy, but hey, Let's do it. Let's hit 3 goals right now on this stream. All right, 3 goals. And I'll stop playing Blueprints and we'll go back to Mind's Eye for this stream. There you go.
Sounds like a whore to me. You know what I'm saying? I thought he has a strict schedule. You know what I'm saying? He has this very strict schedule. He has all these things that he's trying to hit in a timely manner. But this guy right here basically pulling a King Tut or a Tutmosis, saying, hey, how much are you willing to sell your soul to me for the night? You know what I'm saying? You might as well sell cat's ass at this point, if that's the case. Fucking A. What's the point? Like, you know what I'm saying? If you're willing to sell off everything you have for literally nothing, what, for some Hogan pulls? Is that what we're doing? For fucking DoorDash in a couple of days? Sad existence, man. You begging for fucking gotcha pulls and DoorDash. That's what it's come down to. That's what this junkie bitch has basically reduced himself down to. DoorDash pulls and fucking, or sorry, DoorDash pulls. I just combined them together. Fucking DoorDash and fucking WWE champion pulls. Shameful. Just shameful.
Let's do it. And then we'll do mod pizza. Sounds good to me. Sounds like a plan. So build a rocket boy.
Oh yeah, this is when you were begging for pizza money. Remember that? Diggs already has me covered. All right, so we'll laugh about that in another video. But yeah, so he was begging for pizza money. Holy shit.
Send that $450 my way, and we'll be playing your crappy game again. Beautiful. Thanks for the super chat.
Look at him, such a greasy eating beggar. See the grease gleaming off.
You know what it is, Jay Kuma? Because Jay Kuma says, I understand, and that the streams are the main hustle. It would be cool to even get 1 edited video a month. I enjoy making the thumbnails for the videos. I really do. The thing is, I have to rush them. Because to give you some...
So how do you enjoy something you're rushing, ass clown? Oh yeah, I enjoy fucking Cat for like the 2 minutes that I can give her, but I really enjoy those 2 minutes. Shut the fuck up.
Perspective, right? I finish my stream. It's 4 p.m. Actually, usually it's after 4 p.m. I have to hurry and upload 2 videos, make thumbnails, get the thumbnails uploaded, set up the next stream, and then run downstairs to have dinner with my wife.
You use the same template though when you make your thumbnails though. So you couldn't just pre-do. Matter of fact, didn't Tevin walk you through this process a bunch of years ago? I'm confident that he did. And I think he used like, it was like maybe one of the Final Fantasy games and what. He actually did this on stream, like Tevin did back in the day, and shit. Fucking A, bro. You don't learn nothing, Phil. You don't learn nothing.
And I basically got to try to get out of here by like 4:30. So I want you to think about this. The stream's going offline around 4:10.
So because he's bad at planning shit for his business, by the way. Because he's bad at planning, everything's rushed, meaning everything looks half-assed. And I can say this because my shit's half-assed. And he wonders why he don't get views. He gets mad that he doesn't get views. He's mad that he doesn't get subs. He's mad that no one takes him seriously. You think? Womp womp.
I have
But he's successful, though. Keep that in mind. According to him, anyway.
20 minutes to do all that work. So most of the time, I'm rushing into DaVinci Resolve, and I'm trying to make a thumbnail fast. Like, what was that clip? What happened to this video? Get the video up. Flash forward. Zoom in.
And he expects people to take him seriously. This guy says that he's one of the most hardest working people on YouTube. He's one of the most not proficient, because he's not proficient at anything. What's the term that he uses? Not prominent, because he's damn sure ain't prominent. He's... Oh man, I can't think of the term that he uses now. Fucking A. It'll come to it. But yeah, it's a term used for his consistency and whatnot. It's on the tip of my tongue, and I just can't think of it at the moment. Anyway, he says all these things, right, about his work ethic, his work ethic or ethics and whatnot, and his resolve to keep doing what he's doing. And look at him. He's literally sitting here admitting to you that he half-asses and rushes everything. Everything? Everything. So how hard is he really working? Just sitting there moping in front of his screen, playing video games badly. Something to think about.
Get the text. Edit the text. No, but, the number of the video. Get this here. Oh, make that. That's, it's crazy. It's like I'm full of adrenaline trying to do it fast. Like, and then I get it done. And I'm like, okay, I feel good about it. A lot of the times I do wish that I had more time to put more effort into the thumbnails. But, you know, DaVinci Resolve is not really supposed to be for thumbnails. It's actually supposed to be for video editing.
Here, yet again, another example, another hot take from a retard. Phil, people have been making thumbnails and fucking video editors forever. It's actually one of the easiest ways of doing it, at least so some people say, depending on what you're looking for. Like, the Call of Duty community is literally built off that shit. For example, most guys in the FGC will tell you that they've done that. It's just, it is what it is. Like, just because it was built to do something doesn't mean it can't have other functionalities. Ugh, it's hurtful. It's so hurtful. You know what I'm saying? To be so one-dimensional like that. Like, I want you to think about that for a minute. I want you to really take in how one-dimensional Phil Burnell is, right? And in his thinking, right? Like, a straight line is a straight line and that's it. And it's the same idiot who will tell you, oh, I don't look at everything as black and white. I realize that there's, you know, shades of gray and this, that, and third. That's not how you think. That's not how you operate. Just because you say that doesn't mean that you believe in it. And that's very clear. Like, DSP very much demonstrates that. The fact that people stand up for him is wild to me. It's so fucking wild. It really is.
And some of the highlight clips and things that I made, for example, the highlight of Mind's Eye. I liked doing that, but I know it could have been much better if I had more time to pick, you know, frame it better, do better editing, do better effects. I just kind of rushed it out there. You know what I mean?
The reality is, if he had more time, he would just give him more reason to put it on. That's really what it comes down to. And he's kind of he's low-key kind of admitting it. The reason why he rushes everything is because it forces him to actually do it. If he actually had to take his time, he more than likely wouldn't, because he would just get more frustrated.
I loved it. I really liked doing it. And now, right now is the era of the video essay on YouTube. Video essays are doing incredibly well on YouTube right now.
We mean right now. They've been doing incredibly well for years. There's a reason why fucking Turkey Tom keeps doing it. And he's been doing it for years. Like, just because you're now catching up doesn't mean whatever. Dude's so fucking out of touch over some shit that's literally his job. Fucking A. Because remember, he's on an island of his own. So what the fuck are you doing speaking on anything else? And what the fuck are you going to talk about in a video essay? The very thing that you say you care about, fighting games, which he doesn't care about fighting games, he just cares about Street Fighter, Super Turbo in particular, but fighting games, you know little to nothing about. You know, like, the bare minimum, or whatever you heard that was regurgitated out there on Twitter. If I wanted to go for a video essay as it pertains to fighting games, there's JM Cross, there's Maximilian, there's Papa Lobster. Like, there's a bunch of people that I can go to, and that's just me. I'm sure all of you, if you follow fighting games or fighting game lore, you have your selected people to go to. Shit, is it Big Top Gaming or Big Hat, or is it Big Top Gaming, or is it Big Hat Gaming? He's a good source too. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, like, there's a bunch of people you can go to for that. But he knows nothing. And that's why he has to frame everything. That's why he has to frame all of his experiences, or all of his knowledge, I should say, that it all is drawn from his experience. He was there day one. He was there when this was coming out. He was in this situation that all these other people were hyped about, and he was actually in the mix too. That's all he can really say. He can't give you any of the technical stuff. And then, if I had to guess, and I don't even need to guess, I know he's lying, but most of his experiences are bullshit. It's something that someone else told him. You can't be there for everything, let's be honest. But if you listen to Phil, and if you listen to him close enough, he'll tell you that he was right there on the moon and shit when the first moon landing happened, if you let him talk. That doesn't make it true.
If I made video essays about anything, about the history of Street Fighter in arcades, about
he can't even tell you the lore of the characters in the game. Something that he supposedly loves, right? Something that he sunk tens of hours, if not hundreds of hours into, if not more than that. He can't even tell you the lore of some of the characters that are in the game. So am I really supposed to believe his account of what Street Fighter was like in the arcades? Was he in every arcade, or just that little hole in the wall spot in Connecticut? Makes you think.
You know, what the downfall of Mass Effect and this and that. I think that I would do really well making video essays. I really do.
Nah, he wouldn't. Now, if someone was in the similar fashion of like Review Tech USA, like let me give you an example. Like if I had if not myself, someone else, I'd probably get someone else. If I had someone write up an outline, well, just write up basically a video essay about The Secret of Mimic, which is Five Nights at Freddy's. It's something I've been kind of obsessing about as of late with the game coming out, and the lore and everything like that. If I had someone write up, do a write-up for all of that, and I gave it to fucking Review Tech USA, yeah, he's going to be able to present it well. But if I didn't give him the write-up, he wouldn't be able to deliver on it. DSP is no different. If DSP tried to do a video essay, he's going to fuck up on the details. He may not fuck up on everything, but he's going to fuck up enough to where it's going to give me, and probably other people who really do know the shit, a reason to critique the fuck out of him. And because DSP can't handle criticism, he's just going to lash out, he's going to get mad, he's going to get belligerent, and then he's just not going to want to do it anymore. End of story. So what good is that? Why would you even want to put that pressure on his own shoulders? But then again, he's telling you he could do that, but he never will. And he knows deep down that he's never going to do it. It's too much work. It's too much overall effort. It's going to be bad anyway. He knows that. You know what I'm saying? You know, I think deep down, DSP understands his limitations at everything. And that's the reason why he only keeps doing what he's doing. Despite how bad he is at that. It gets him results. And it's not even the results that he wants. You think DSP is really content with his little $150 a stream? No. He believes he should get his $4,000, $5,000, $7,000 like Max pulls, like Justin pulls, like some of these other guys do. But he'll never get it. He knows it deep down. So he's content with his what little money he can get. And then just comes up with another scheme, another lie, another justification to keep these dents opening up those Velcros and keep paying them. It's just the reality of it.
I think that my videos would do well, perform well, people would like them, and would respect the amount of effort that I would put into them. But is it worth it? Let's say I work my...
The term that I was looking for, by the way, as it pertains to how DSP references himself and his content creation, is the most prolific. That's what I think. That's how he actually terms it. He's the most prolific YouTuber because of how often he uploads and how long he's been doing it. Pretty sure he used the term prolific.
Ass off on a video essay. It takes me all week. I put it out, 20,000 views. You just made $40. Oh, I could have turned on one stream and tripled that. Do you see the difference? Like,
yes, you could have turned on one stream and begged and pleaded and for them to give you money so you could fucking order food. So basically you're begging for food too. And yeah, you would have certainly have gotten that. Absolutely. Does that make you feel better? But yet again, he's justifying to you his begging. Because DSP doesn't make money playing video games. He makes money begging. It's all right here. You're hearing it right out of the pig's mouth or snout. Take it for what you will.
It's kind of a problem. You know, you have to like be consistent and almost go viral to succeed with just on-demand videos these days. You can't.
How do you almost go viral? And what do you know about going viral anyway? So let's go ahead and stop with all that. Let's, Cat had an STD scare that you're not telling nobody, not telling us about. I mean, what do you know about that?
You have to get crowdfunding in order to succeed.
So you have to beg. Gotcha. Because begging and crowdfunding are two separate things, ladies and gentlemen. DSP doesn't crowdfund. He begs. He just uses the crowdfunding term as cover, as a way for him to feel less bad and his ego not to be completely bruised. He knows he doesn't crowdfund. Because the crowdfund means you have to deliver on something. I mean, unless you're Comicsgate, and then that's different. Then you have all these people crowdfunding your books, and instead of them getting something further crowdfunding, you pull an Ethan Van Skyler and say, no. You didn't give me money so you could get an actual product. You gave me money so I could produce a product that you can later buy. He literally said that. which is wild. Because if that was the case, then why are there backer fucking perks? Which is, and one of those perks is being able to get the book. Womp womp.
Only real path to success at this point.
And that right there actually is a great example. Ethan Van Skyler is literally the example of someone who has just incredible, God-given fucking talent, right? As an illustrator, not as a comic book writer, but as an illustrator. But he's a terrible businessman. He's just a shitty fucking businessman. Like, holy fuck. But he's got fucking amazing God-given talent. He really does. You know what I'm saying? But if you look at why he's not at Marvel, if you look at why he's not at DC, it kind of gives you the tail of the tape.
Rue and Sweeko, how you doing, man? Good to see you today. Exactly right. Rue and Sweeko just said the time and effort would exceed the reward that you would get out of doing those. There you go. Yak Almighty.
But if the content is meaningful, that's kind of part of the reward. But semantics. What do I know about that? I don't have to run around and tell people that what I do is meaningful. If I didn't think it was meaningful, I wouldn't do it. So I guess we're playing on two different levels there.
People can spend months working on those video essays. It's a crazy amount of work. True. Absolutely true. You really need your video to explode. Even to give you some perspective here. All right? I want you to think about June the King.
You mean that guy you were harassing for months on end to make a hit piece on your fucking detractors and he wouldn't do it? So you thought if you kept harassing him, he would eventually break? Which is what happened, by the way. You want to bring that up. Oh no, was he part of June the King's editing process? Was that the case? If that's the case, Phil, why didn't you tell him to take out that 7 seconds of WWE Champions, which got the first video demonetized, which hints the reason why that video never got 1 million views? And don't get me wrong, no shots at fucking June. I'm sorry that played out the way it did, because June and his team deserved all that and some. But it is interesting, Phil. You want to tell me some shit about the process, and you couldn't even tell your man to take the 7 seconds of that fucking WWE shit out? Or remix that shit in Audacity or something so it gets past the fucking YouTube copyright? Whatever.
Watched a lot of his work. He's made a documentary on me. Okay, I want you to think about the ad revenue on YouTube. All right? On average, $2.
I want you to pay really close attention to what's being said here. Pay very close attention, because this shows you how fucking out of touch he is. Which makes me think, you remember back when John Rambo told us what Phil made back in those days? I'm starting to want to question that. Not because I think John lied, but because I think John was lied to. But I want you to pay very close attention to what's being said at this point.
Per 1,000 views. That's the average. It's a rule of thumb. It could be higher, it could be lower than that. All right? So let's say June the King makes a video that gets 500,000 views over a course of months. He only makes like $1,000 on it. That's insane.
The fact that this idiot thinks that the benchmark is $2 per 1,000 views is crazy. He's literally going off of an old statistic that he himself told John a bunch of years ago, which is wild. But let's keep going, though.
He worked his ass off. He put all his blood, sweat, and tears into this highly edited, nicely stylized, very informative video. 500,000 views. Here's $1,000. Wow. I could have made more if I worked at Burger King this week, all week. You know, like, fuck. That's YouTube on demand.
If that was the case, then is that what justified you getting mad over that sloppy ass sandwich that you bitched and complained about for weeks on end? Matter of fact, wasn't that on Kat's birthday that you did that? You had that bitch fest about? Maybe? I'd hate to go ahead and accuse you of being a selfish bastard and making her birthday all about you and your shitty ass sandwich. But something tells me
It's not good. That's why YouTubers had to basically sell out. They had to.
And yes, Phil, people out there who flip burgers are making $1,000 a week. Holy fuck, Phil, you're out of touch. Now, granted, I know he's exaggerating because he's an idiot. But Jesus, Phil, if that's the case, you should probably go and get yourself a job. Wouldn't hurt. And a bath.
Have constant sponsorships, constant plugs on the screen. Pay for my Patreon. Subscribe to this service.
Pay for my Patreon? Doesn't, and yet this idiot has a Patreon himself. But whatever, because he doesn't advertise it, he's not like the rest of those guys. He's not like the rest of those shysters. Okay.
Do this. That's how they have to make ends meet. As opposed to an interactive live streamer who's doing successful streams, it's way better.
And actually, this idiot don't know what he's talking about, being that the majority of live streamers, right, especially if you're competing at a level that's certainly above Phil, has sponsorships and endorsements and that and the third. Dude, most of these people who have long-term sponsorships or whatever are making far more money than DSP could ever make begging. Like, what DSP pulls in a year, some of these people pull that in like 6 months and like 8 months, especially if you're good at moving the product that you're being, that you've made the deal for. Because like there's the initial deal that, well, it depends on the company, but there's the initial deal that you sign and whatever money they kick you up front. Then there's the middle end, and then you can negotiate for a back end if you can move whatever the product is. So keep that in mind. And then on top of other like swag or other fucking shit they'll give you. For example, so Moist Critical as of current, I guess he's promoting not G Fuel, it's the other one. The one with the anime chicks on it. Gamer subs. Yeah, I think it's called Gamer Subs. I've actually gotten free samples from them before. I don't even know how that happened, but it was all right. I can't be mad at it. But it was especially brand risk. That was actually a pretty good flavor. Anyway, he has this thing. He has two things now in his room. He has a gaming sub or a gamer sub fridge, a vertical one. It's kind of neat and whatnot. So it's a big one too. It's a lot bigger than I thought it would be. And it's a lot bigger than the G Fuel ones you usually see. Or the Monster Energy drink ones too. And then he has like one of those claw machines by them too. And it has like plushes in it. And I assume those plushes are his. And he has that. So that's kind of neat. You know what I mean? But then again, if you look at what Moist Critical does on a daily basis, you can understand how that shit's warranted. So when DSP tells you about sponsorships and endorsements and brand deals and all this bullshit and how people do that shit to make ends meet, take him with a fucking grain of salt, because there are levels to that shit too. And the higher your level is as a content creator and streamer, the better your perks are. DSP is at ground level. Literally. Bottom of the barrel. They'll pay him the bare minimum, if not less than the bare minimum, because they can afford to. Because that's all he's really worth. And if you listen to what he was saying about what it takes to go ahead and make thumbnails and rushing and all this other fucking jargon bullshit that he was doing, you can see why. You can see why.
It really is.
So apparently that path of the e-beggar has been working out quite well. But when people just all of a sudden stop showing up, or if DSP becomes so sick that he can't talk, or he can't play a game, or both, then what is he going to do? Are people going to keep funding you and without you doing anything? I can't say he produces anything. His detractors produce shit, but he don't. So, like, what are you going to do in that situation, Phil? What are you going to do when Kat gets so goddamn sick that you got to be with her in the hospital for days on end, and you're not making content? You're going to just keep begging on fucking Twitter or X? You're going to do that? You're going to start begging on Instagram? What are you going to do then? Something to think about.
Gogeta says, I heard you can make $5,000 per 1 million views. Well, I can only give you perspective of 2016.
Told you. That's what I wanted you to hear. How the fuck are you going to give them perspective on 2016 when you make money with YouTube currently? You want to know why that is? Because he don't make shit on views. And he doesn't even look at what he makes in ad revenue anymore because he knows he doesn't make shit on it. And I would assume, I don't know for sure, because just in case you don't know, every YouTube channels have basically like a grade, right? Kind of like you have a social score, you have one on YouTube too, right? And you can improve it or it can go down depending on what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of factors that go into it. In any case, his score is probably so fucking low that he's probably making damn near bottom of the barrel when it comes to CPMs. I'm guessing. I can't prove any of that. It's just me making an assumption. So that's why he's so desperate to beg, because whatever it is that he's pulling in ad revenue isn't shit. It has to. It's just not shit. And which makes me think, and this shows you how dishonest he is. He's sitting here using a metric from fucking 2016, knowing damn well that he must pull at least between $5 and $7 at the very least. He's pulling between $5 and $7 every 1,000 views. He's probably at least making that. At least. He could be less than that, to be honest, but he's at least making that. But he wants to use a 2016 metric? Hear it again.
Successful streams, it's way better. It really is. Gogeta says, I heard you can make $5,000 per 1 million views. Well, I can only give you perspective of 2016. In 2016, my video review / essay on, what the hell was it?
I don't know, because you're retarded. Why do you have a fucking 43-year-old man who's allegedly has a business, who allegedly runs a successful business using a fucking metric from 9 fucking years ago? Why is that a thing? So for some of you, and it's probably very few of you, who keep defending Phil for whatever fucking reason and shit, this is what you're defending. Just because he's retarded doesn't make you guys retarded. I want you to think for a second. You got a guy up here that's giving you fucking 2016 metrics when he's paid month by month by YouTube. He can see what his ad revenue is. He can't come up with a better example than 2016. He couldn't tell you what he made last year or go off of a metric in 2024, 2023. I'd still shit on him for that too. But that would give you guys and him some leeway. He can't even do that. But yet people feel the need to defend him. That's just wild to me, bruh. Wild to me, bruh.
Gogeta says, I heard you can make $5,000 per 1 million views. Well, I can only give you perspective of 2016. In 2016, my video review / essay on...
Now it was a review / essay? All right.
What the hell was it? Homefront, The Revolution. I said it was the worst game I'd ever played. That video made 1 million views. All right. It was fully monetized during that time period, and I made around $3,000 on that video. Roughly. And that was 2016 ad revenue. Ad revenue today is much lower than ad revenue in 2016.
Extra doubt on that. To be honest, that's literally bullshit. That is legitimately bullshit. And the reason, but I'll even explain to you why he's going off of that or why he's using that as his argument. Because of fucking Adpocalypse, because he lost his deal with Machinima, because he was forced to go into full-time streaming. And keep in mind, the reason why he became a full-time streamer is because he ain't fucked himself over with Machinima. You can't blame him for the Adpocalypse, but you can blame him for that bullshit with Machinima. He was so fucking greedy, and instead of just transitioning into Twitch and still collecting his YouTube ad revenue off of Machinima, instead he needed to make all of his money off Machinima because he didn't want to stream. He only really started streaming on Twitch because he was forced to. Yes, there was more avenues to make money over there on Twitch, but he really wasn't going to go over there if he could still pull his money out of Machinima. The moment he fucked that deal up, and then he had to sit there and beg and plead with his dirty ass white shirt to someone get him another MCN, which is what allowed him to go to Curse. And I think Review Tech USA was behind that. I think Review Tech was the one who helped him get in, because Review Tech was part of Curse for a while, and I think he was part of Curse around that time. And Rich has been following DSP for a very long time. Semantics, that's a whole nother story for another day. Once DSP had that shit locked down, he was already over there at Twitch. But he had to start from the ground up because he had abandoned Twitch after all those years because, after a number of years, I should say, because he ended up leaving Twitch in the first place because he couldn't get a higher, resolution on his streams, unlike other streamers who he felt he was as big as or bigger. So then when he finally went back for basically pennies and whatnot, all these people were really big. These people were making 6 figures, damn near 7 figures, some of them, off of what they're doing while he ran back to fucking YouTube for fucking pennies on the dollar. You know what I mean? Well, let's be nice. Let's say fucking dimes on the dollar. Let's say that. So there you go. Like, if you really look at that whole scenario with why he went back to Twitch and the whole thing with Machinima, he fucked himself royally out of money for no reason, for no good reason. And then had the nerve to criticize people like Angry Joe for begging for subs on Twitch, because like I said, all those other ways of monetizing weren't available yet, and all this bullshit about Patreon, and then he ends up going and doing the exact same thing. But when he does it, he can justify it. Angry Joe was making plenty of money on fucking YouTube, bro, with his Google AdSense. He didn't need to beg for that. I do. All right, Phil, whatever you say, man. Whatever you say. As long as you can look your mother and father in the eye with that bullshit, go ahead if it makes you feel better.
So there you have it. Okay? Can I tell if people are still watching my older channels like Darksydephil or DSP Street Fighter? There's analytics. You can log in and see analytics, but it's negligible. Like, very few people go back and watch the old stuff. I can tell you that right now. Very few. More people watch This Is How You Don't Play than the original old stuff, because This Is How You Don't Play went viral and was the big culturally relevant thing, as opposed to my...
Keep in mind, he made it culturally relevant. Not to take anything away from Evil AJ. Evil AJ constructed or put together, you know what I'm saying, a fucking masterpiece for sure. But if it wasn't for DSP being a fucking ass clown and blowing that shit up, he took what was essentially the Mona Lisa and turned that shit into the fucking Sistine Chapel. You know what I'm saying? There's a reason why fucking Evil AJ is on the majority of people's Mount Rushmore of detractors. Matter of fact, I might actually do a video on that. I've always wanted to actually do that. Like, well, it'll be quick, but it'd be like just a short video saying who's on your detractor Mount Rushmore. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it now. I've been meaning to do that shit for a while, and I know I mentioned that must have been like 2 or 3 years ago. I just never got around to doing it. I'm gonna do it now though. But yeah, he's the one who blew that shit up, and then he had the first one taken down, even though he acts like he didn't, but he did. He ended up admitting it later, and then the second one went up, and that shit just went fucking crazy and whatnot, and that leads to the Outsider and everybody else who's followed after the fact. But DSP did that. You know what I'm saying? If he didn't fucking say anything and left it alone, would it have still hit 1 million subs? Yeah, more than likely. Because, yet again, even though it's in this niche community, DSP is widely mocked or ridiculed outside of this community, right? So it would have hit 1 million plus either which way, but he made it so much more. Hey, this video that fucking Darksydephil had taken down, that was fucking a parody of his dumb shit. It's back up his shit, and everybody's watching it, and everybody went to go and see it, and everybody went to go ahead and support it. And so Evil AJ made more, and then he laid down the foundation for everybody who came later. There you go.
My raw playthroughs, maybe the old fans watch them, but that's about it. You know, I don't make a lot of legacy revenue. I do have monetized, like this channel right now.
And that's hilarious too, because that's hilarious. Because that's what DSP was always banking on. He was always hoping that YouTube would give him, like his catalog, I should say, would always produce give him ad revenue. The problem is, and it shows now more than probably it did back in the day, that him not appreciating Machinima, I'm gonna just use Machinima because Cursor was whatever, but him not appreciating Machinima has hurt him in more ways than one. Pretty much all those years he was on Machinima, which was what, 6 or 7 years, and everything he did essentially before that basically went to waste because he has nothing to save him from copyright. The reason why I'm discounting or I'm dismissing Curse is because when he went to Curse, even though they were going to give him, or they did give him, I'm sorry, like a 90-10 split, if I'm correct, it didn't matter because they couldn't protect the majority of his catalog. I surmise that like 70 to 80% of his catalog was null and void when he went to Curse. They couldn't protect it. That's why he was so desperate to get a managed partnership, because if he could get a managed partnership, then he could get you know, he would be able to protect he'd be able to protect those playthroughs and or videos from copyright claims. Here's the problem. If you really go back and look at Machinima's history, they had deals that other MCNs didn't have. So truth be told, DSP is nothing more. He's a nepotism baby twice, or a nepo baby. He's a nepo baby twice, because Machinima was doing some shady shit to not for certain playthroughs to get through without being copyright struck. If it wasn't for Machinima, he wouldn't have survived. And Curse was a shining example of that. So truth be told, and then Curse, if you guys really know your fucking lore, fucking Machinima was overpaying him for years. And then it took even more years for them to finally correct it. So when you really look at those circumstances, you see exactly how much pig luck he actually had. But with that being said, and this is something that I may actually work on a project going over that now that I think about it, because now that I'll write it down. But with that being said, because I've actually gotten into a bit of a back and forth with someone on this, fucking Wings of Redemption says that he's never made 100,000 a year or whatever his lie was, which is bullshit. That's absolute bullshit. He was on Machinima during those peak years where just about everybody who was on Machinima who was making good views off Call of Duty content were getting crazy money. And to prove that argument that he had with White Boy 7th Street, which is essentially what gave birth to Drama Alert in a video form, he said that his contract wasn't too far off of what White Boy's fucking contract was, and White Boy 7th Street is still good financially. He's still good with his money. He still lives the way he wants to live. So what was Wings' excuse? You know what I'm saying? If his contract was really the same as White Boy's. But the reality is, Wings is lying. He bluffed. He did that to try to get White Boy to concede to what he was saying, or he was going to out him. The thing is White Boy didn't care, on top of the fact that White Boy knew that they weren't making the same type of money. But that doesn't mean Wings wasn't making good money. Wings has definitely had a few years, I want to say he had a few years where he was definitely kicking 200, 220, 230,000 a year for sure and whatnot. Now he'll never admit that because he wants to run around acting like he's living humbly and shit, but he don't want you to call him broke or poor. But he was definitely making big money back in those days. Matter of fact, big ups to Lummox. He fucking Wings just recently and whatnot came out and said that his mother's greedy and what he could have had if he didn't pay for that fucking mobile mansion, this, that, and the third. I may actually do that next just because I'm feeling a certain type of way. And but Wings could have had far more than what he had. He's a fucking dumbass and he's complacent. And he wanted to play Captain Save-A-Ho to all these different women, and they literally drained his ass dry. Because he wanted to be somebody else. He wanted to go ahead and be a daddy to somebody else. And whatever. On top of other shit. So that's the reality on that. So whatever Wings likes to tell y'all about how much he used to make back in the day, it's full of shit. It's absolutely full of shit.
DSP Gaming. Okay.
Which is probably the reason why, you know, DSP and Wings kind of get along. Except for that fucking Twitter DM where DSP basically told Wings to stop ignoring him. There's that, but, you know, semantics.
Okay. All the content on this channel is monetized. And this channel's been in business since 2010.
Not all of it. He's lying. He lying his ass off about that. Not all of that shit is monetized. Not all of that shit. A lot of that shit has been copyright claimed. I know that for a fact.
15 years. Do you really think I'm getting a ton of views and ad revenue on the old content?
And it sounds like you wasted 15 years, but you're too stupid to see it. So you just think, oh, I'm making a bunch of money streaming, so that auto corrects it. Or that's his course correct, if you will. And it's not. Because he's low-key basically telling you for 15 years he wasted his life. You don't believe me? Here, let me bring it back to you. I'll try not to bring it back too far, but you know I will anyway.
I do have monetized, like this channel right now, DSP Gaming, okay? All the content on this channel is monetized. And this channel's been in business since 2010. 15 years. Do you really think I'm getting a ton of views and ad revenue on the old content? It doesn't show up in the search engine anymore. That's really what the problem is that you.
No, it's not. Because even before the copyright strikes or false copyright claims in 2015, his analytics and everything was already tanking. But the reality was, he just admitted to you that his last 15 years were a waste. And that's why he lives day to day. That's why he can never have any future plans. I mean, really, he's always been that way. So it is what it is. You can't, a fish is going to swim and whatnot. And you can't, most of the time, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, or an old pig how to squeal differently. In any case, he's always lived that way. And because of that, that's why he operates the way he does. That's the reason why he can never get ahead. That's why there always needs to be some type of crisis. There has to be some type of emergency. I need your help. I need to make you guys aware, so on and so forth. There's a reason why all of that stuff happens, because he doesn't know how to handle a situation in any other way. And whenever he does feel like he has an advantage, as with the Homefront Revolution situation, he should have banked that money. That money should have gone in the savings. But DSP doesn't believe in a savings account. He doesn't believe in saving money. In his eyes, money is meant to be spent. End of story. You work hard to obtain it, and then you immediately spend it. And then you keep working hard to make money to spend it again, and you really have nothing to show for it. Truth be told, before Kino Casino, that's exactly how he ran his life and his streams. That's why he didn't have nothing. Now he has a bunch of junk around him, and it still doesn't mean shit. Yet again, it was nothing more than him trying to auto-correct or try to course correct his situation by buying all of this shit to make it seem like he's actually successful, and he's not. And he never will be. At the end of the day, shit is still shit, no matter how you dress it up. I'm not being disingenuous, that's the truth.
YouTube search engine favors the highly edited videos that went viral versus.
But he doesn't even explain to you why it went viral. And the reason why is because the shit was entertaining, or it was compelling, or it was interesting. 3 things that he doesn't fit into, and he knows it. So instead, he has to give you all this existential shit, right, to try to cover up for his own shortcomings, which just makes him look even more pathetic. If you have all this talent and all of this ability, then why aren't you using it? Can't use what you don't have.
The original content. So even though my content has been seen by millions and millions and millions, it's usually seen through someone who stole the content and edited it into a negative video rather than the raw content.
Then why didn't they go and just watch the raw content then? If those people like you so much and they think what you do is so meaningful, why didn't they just go to the source? Don't give me that bullshit about they couldn't find it. Ernesto was just lazy. And nothing against you, butt check. I love your channel. You know what I'm saying? I'm over there. You know what I'm saying? I watch it every day, so it is what it is. But let's be honest, if you really wanted to find DSP Gaming, you would have found it. The reason why you didn't look for DSP Gaming is because you don't know him as DSP Gaming. You know him as DSP or Darksydephil. That I don't mean to call button check out, but we all know that's what the truth is. The reality is, if he really wanted to find you, he could find you. Because he could have just gone to your Twitter, looked in your Twitter bios, clicked the link to your fucking main channel, and gone there. He's not going to go through that because he don't have the time. Detractor content actually has a utility to it. That's the reason why detractor content has been able to prevail. It's not the fact that it's entertaining. It's not the fact that it's not just the fact that it's entertaining or insightful or entertaining, but it's useful. It serves a purpose. You know what I'm saying? And DSP don't want to acknowledge that. That's why he's so desperate to get button check to go to his channel directly. And DSP knows it.
So I make nothing on any of the negative spin stuff.
And why would you want to make money on the negative spin anyway? Would you want to actually correct it? I'm just asking. If you listen to what he's saying here, oh, it's okay that the negative product exists as long as I can make money on it. Okay, so why don't you call duty and get into business with him? Do that. Might as well at this point, if that's the case. Makes you think. He's okay with the negativity existing as long as he can profit from it. At least that's what he's saying right here.
Carlton says, I think the idea is to keep making these kind of videos. You compound that work upon itself and people discover the channel. and overall the workload is crazy. Right. Like, that's what I mean. Like, Jay Kuma, I get what he's saying. I really do feel like, especially now with my new setup, now that I have DaVinci Resolve.
See how he keeps going back to the new setup, the new this, the new that? We're 15 years too late. He killed himself in the algorithm when he deleted all those videos with all those pre-streams and shit. And then over the years, for those of you who don't know this, I'm sure Tevin, I'm sure other content creators under the tractors have spoken about this. DSP is periodically deleting shit. And he has been for the last few years. Like, you know what I'm saying? At least the last 2 or 3 that I've been paying attention to. So now it's not that he had deleted all those videos all, you know, back in 2015, 2016, but he's been doing that periodically over the years. And if you use PigPigGo, big ups to the person who created PigPigGo, you see it there too. You can actually see that shit's just missing, which that shouldn't be like that. It wasn't like that a few years ago. So what's he doing? What's he trying to hide? What's he trying to get rid of? You know what I'm saying? What is it? Are they videos that you can't monetize anymore, so you're just getting rid of it? What is it? Are you getting other claims and you don't want to admit to it? What is it? Are you coming to the realization that there's stuff that can be clipped out of there that can make you look bad later on down the line, and that's why we're getting rid of it? Makes you think.
And a PC that can edit really well, good quality video, good quality audio. Everything I do, I could make a really professional level video essay. I know I could, or review, or whatever it may be that I choose.
What does that even mean? Like, what does that even mean? You don't have any, and it's going to sound funny saying this. He has no background in production, in media, in anything. The dude himself doesn't really know how to edit. And he's too lazy and too stupid to watch any videos on it. You know how many fucking tutorials are out there for DaVinci? Is he going to really sit through a 20-minute video? A 40-minute video? No. Cat might, but he won't. I mean, what is this? The Gouty little engine that could type shit? Like, come on, bro.
To do. The problem is, it's so much work and so time-consuming. It would mean sacrificing what I'm doing now as a streamer. I would have to significantly step back as a streamer to do what I need to do to try to make the edited stuff successful. Because it's not just make one video. It's make a video, then make another video, then make another video, link to the video, cross-promote the video, get the person who...
You don't cross-promote now. I mean, you could say that he does, but he really don't.
Watch that video to then watch the next video. You need to have that work to be successful.
And here's the funny part. You remember what I was saying earlier about KOGaming? He right here, right now, is literally admitting what he fucked up on and why he can't get shit done. Here, let me bring that back. Because he's literally admitting that he fucked up on KOGaming after Homefront Revolution because he didn't do the things he needed to do for the channel to be overall successful.
Would have to significantly step back as a streamer to do what I need to do to try to make the edited stuff successful. Because it's not just make one video. It's make a video, then make another video, then make another video, link to the video, cross-promote the video, get the person who watched that video to then watch the next video. You need to have that work to be successful. If not, if you're just a one-hit wonder, you're going to make a little bit of money, and then it's going to go away, and then there's no point even continuing, you know?
That's hilarious. The little piggy's actually learning. I mean, it took him 9 years, but he's learning. I gotta tell you, I am... Well done, Phil. I'm not going to clap for you. Fuck you. But I'm going to say, you actually learned. 9 years too late, but you actually learned. Good job, Phil. Oh, well done. Well done. You could start another channel like Review Tech USA did and start from scratch, but you're not going to do that. You would rather go ahead and stay on like past valor, which Rich would have done too if he wasn't botting subs and views on that main channel. So womp womp to that. But there you go, ladies and gentlemen. It's just like how I told you. It's literally how I told you, which is fucking hilarious, by the way. I didn't expect that because I haven't actually watched this yet. But holy shit, that's kind of funny. Anyway, but there's been detractors, trolls, haters, and critics that have been telling him this shit for years. So he should have been known this. But, you know, DSP will always wait until there's a period of time, an expiration date, if you will, that then he can come to the revelation of what his mistakes are. But if Tevin tells him to do it, or if anybody else does, oh no, it's just detractor troll talk. I can't validate any of that shit. I can't give any of that life because they're just brain dead idiots. All right, Phil, whatever. If you come around, whether it's, you know, the next day, the next week, the next month, or the next year, at the end of the day, you're still co-signing what someone else said in the story.
To some extent with KOGaming, it was rough because I had 2 or 3 videos that did really well. I had a few videos that were doing like 10, 20, 30,000 views on their own merits. Then all of a sudden the video hit the algorithm and I got over 1 million views.
I want you, did you hear that? On its own merits. And then the home front shit, it's just like how I told you. Well, I've been saying this for a while anyway. But it's funny how it's funny hearing him come to the realization. It's like you teaching your child, like, it's like you helping them with their homework, right? Let's say like math equations or whatever the case may be. And then when they finally have that eureka moment where it starts clicking, it's kind of like that. Except for he's not my kid. He's just some step kid of some chick that I'm messing with at the time. That's all that really is in this particular scenario. But if, you know, if Dave was proud of him, I'm sure Dave would be feeling a lot of pride right now.
You need to have that work to be successful. If not, if you're just a one-hit wonder, you're going to make a little bit of money and then it's going to go away and then there's no point even continuing, you know. To some extent with KOGaming, it was rough because I had 2 or 3 videos that did really well. I had a few videos that were doing like 10, 20, 30,000 views on their own merits. Then all of a sudden the video hit the algorithm and I got over 1 million views in like a week. So now all my videos are now getting extra views.
I don't think it was a week though. I'm pretty confident that's not actually true. I'm pretty sure it took a really long time for that to actually happen. It didn't happen in just a week. That's not, I'm pretty sure that's not true. I'm pretty confident that's not true. I'll go back and look, but I'm pretty sure that's not true. It took a long time for it to finally get to 1 million views. It didn't happen in a week. And the fact that he still won't acknowledge that there was another much more successful content creator that helped boost it just kind of reinforces that, to be honest.
Because everyone's seeing it in related, right? So I start pumping out videos and I'm getting 50,000, 60,000, over 100,000 views on videos that would have had 1/10 of that, right? And I did take advantage of that for a while.
No, he didn't, because remember, he went on staycation while the home front revolution really started to kind of hit through. And keep in mind too, that means if you listen to his narrative and the way he's going about it, he's lying. Because how is it that the home front revolution video made made about $3,000 or whatever, and he literally spent the money before he had it going on the staycation? So he literally fucked himself. He's literally admitting here that he spent money that he didn't even have yet. That's wild. So either A, he was making more in fucking ad revenue than he's willing to admit, or 2, he saw how quickly the video was blowing up. He ain't sat there and blown all that air up fucking Panda's ass and shit, and they just decided to go on vacation and celebrate before the money even rolled in. Which one sounds a bit more plausible to you?
But the problem is now you have to keep making content and following trends, and this has to become what you're immersed in.
I thought you were one of the most prolific content creators on YouTube. Isn't that something that you allegedly already do anyway? Womp womp.
Because if you even take a little bit of a break or a misstep, you lose that ride in the algorithm. And that's actually what happened with KOGaming, is the hardcore gaming.
I thought you said that the fucking channel got demonetized. Now you're saying, let's bring it back. Let's bring it back, because I don't want him to say that I took him out of context.
Keep making content and following trends, and this has to become what you're immersed in. Because if you even take a little bit of a break or a misstep, you lose that ride in the algorithm. And that's actually what happened with KOGaming, is the hardcore gaming season hit, where I got heavily into all the new games, and I started playing more games and doing less edited content, and immediately all the viewership fell off on the channel. It was just boom. By the time that I wanted to go back to the channel and put effort into it again, YouTube demonetizes it on me.
That's bullshit. There's no way. That makes no sense. That legitimately makes no sense. But because he's hoping that people are going to be ignorant, or at least the people who are watching him, like dense, I should say. Because he's expecting his dense to be absolutely ignorant to how YouTube works or how streaming works, he thinks he can pull that lie off and say it with confidence. But that literally makes no sense. That legitimately makes no sense. He's basically saying, oh, I put out this video, it went viral and shit. I had a few more that were doing decently well, and then I went ahead and did my hardcore gaming season shit, and then I came back a little while later, and the channel was just demonetized, dude. It was just demonetized out of nowhere. Just, it is what it was, dude. Even though he's admitting that the views dropped or tanked after the fucking Homefront Revolution thing. And he also admits that he didn't give it the actual attention that it needed. So, truth be told, he literally basically, I don't want to use this term, but I'm going to use it. He basically smothered KOGaming in the crib because he was fucking lazy. But it's somehow YouTube's fault. See what I mean?
For no reason. So, yeah. Basically, if you're going to sit there and edit full time and work your ass off, and then you're also going to try to get the sponsorships and the partnerships and the paid promotions and all of that, then you can make it work. It's hard work. I don't envy it. I respect it. You know, again, someone like June the King sitting there working his butt off trying to make those documentaries, that's tough work.
Now, keep in mind, if you listen, if you were ignorant as fuck and you didn't have any clue, or if you didn't have any clue on what he's talking about, he makes it sound like June the King has to pump out a video every week. Fuck, every day is kind of what DSP is making it sound like. And June don't do that. I don't know if June posts more than once a month, if not once every couple of months. But he damn sure doesn't fucking post every week. So what's he talking about?
It really is. Nor should they. Parking Lot Tears, nice name, by the way. Like, I don't know that you're trying to take a jab at me. Says,
I mean, you're the one who sat there and lied and said that someone stole your fucking car tire and shit, but they leave the jack, which doesn't make any sense because the jack was worth more than probably the wheel itself. Whatever. I'm not even going down that rabbit hole again. But that whole story don't make no sense either. And actually, the fact that Phil acknowledged it actually gives more credence to the fact that that story is not true. But that might be me just looking a little too deep.
That's why content creators get sponsors first. They don't trust YouTube to pay them, nor should they. Because YouTube...
Well, the sponsorships is really more supplemental. But like I said, if you can move product, or if you can bring in sales, it can literally be the main like income in itself. Rich, and like I said, I hate to admit this, but Rich at one time, especially when Dollar Shave Club first came out, he was doing fairly well at it. And I'm assuming that either he got lazy or he asked for a larger cut when he was asking for more money, even though the demographic that was actually going through and buying the product probably dropped. And that's not how that works. You know what I'm saying? If you're in a high demand and if you're bringing a high demand to a product, after a period of time, especially if you can maintain it, that's when you should go back and renegotiate. You don't sit there and bring all this influx of people in, and then when that shit flops, or not flops, or when it drops, if you will, or starts to plateau, then you ask for a raise. That doesn't make any sense. But more than likely, he wasn't coming through on his end of the contract, and that's why they broke off with him. But then again, Rich has basically lost every sponsorship that dude's ever had. Every single one of them. It's the most fucking perplexing thing in the world on how you you fucked up once. Everybody makes a mistake. You fucked up twice. You're just a fuck up. But you just kept fucking up. How does that happen? Makes you think.
For no reason demonetize his videos. It's insane. For me, it doesn't affect me. Why? I pump out enough content that if YouTube demonetizes half my videos today, it doesn't even affect me. Most of my income is coming from streams. Oh no, I lose a few bucks on demonetized videos, big deal. But imagine if I work 3 weeks to a month on a video. I put out this highly edited...
How did we get from 3 weeks to a month on a video when you said you could put out a professional style essay or review in a week? Or did he just memory hole that? Womp womp.
Edited, amazing video. It gets tons of views, demonetized. That's exactly what happened with June the King's documentary on me. WWE claimed the video because there was a 5-second clip of Stone Cold Steve...
Pretty sure it was 7 seconds, but whatever.
Austin, Stone Cold stunning Vince McMahon in my documentary. They literally took the entire profits away from him. So all the time, effort, and work he put into that video, stolen from him. And then he had to re-upload it And he did get some views on the back end, but that's why that documentary never hit 1 million views. It would have been over 1 million. People were saying it probably would have been like 1.5 million if YouTube didn't do that and he had to re-upload it and start over. It's so lame.
Well, you know what I'm saying? The way he's describing that, it makes me wonder, did you try to go to June the King and ask for a cut of the money? I wouldn't put that past Phil. So it makes me like, I don't know. Like if you listen to what he's saying, he was pocket watching June kind of close. So, you know, Phil's certainly not above that. If you're willing to beg disabled people for their social security checks and their disability checks, I could see him going to fucking June the King with his hoof out and be like, hey, you got yourself this viral video because of me. I think I deserve a cut. Because according to DSP, they were, quote unquote, damn near collaborating behind the scenes anyway. According to Phil, anyway. Something to think about. Sometime today, Phil. Sometime today. I could fast forward, but I'm petty. I'm petty.
All right, are we ready to end the show?
Hmm.
I think maybe we should end the show and start with blueprints. I want to make big progress in blueprints today. I do. I'm hoping to do 2-3 runs, and hopefully we can draft the throne room and we can do the other stuff. I want to get into it. I definitely don't want to have this going on forever. Guys, please support blueprints today. If you're here for blueprints,
Begging already. Like, good God, Phil. Thought we were so successful like a minute ago. Right back to the begging.
you're in the right place. My goal here is to be engaged with you all and try to make as much progress as possible in the game today. All right. It'd be great if I could finish it, but I don't know where the ending is. So I don't know how close realistically we are to the ending. Okay.
Doesn't that kind of kill the purpose? Because that's the thing about Phil. He wants to know how everything is supposed to work beforehand because he wants an unfair advantage. But then it kind of makes the playthroughs meaningless. Because what good is the journey if you already know what that entails and you're already prepared for the end game beforehand? That doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. But because DSP doesn't want a struggle, right? He doesn't actually want to grow through experiences. He just wants the payoff, if you will. Like, he wonders why people won't watch his shit, but people will go and watch Max's. Real strange. You think Max picks up a game and is like, yeah, man, I can't wait for the ending of this shit. I wonder how easy this playthrough is going to be. No, not at all. You think Max sits there and looks at a playthrough and is like, oh yeah, this is going to be about 20 hours, so I'm about to get 40 out of it. Do you ever hear Max do that shit? Do you ever hear anybody do that shit? You know what I'm saying? I watch a lot of Brad. He doesn't say shit like that. Amongst others. So, I don't know. I've always felt like he kills the playthrough long before it starts, and he's just too stupid to realize it.
Okay. All right. Thank you all. Now, remember, tomorrow there is no show. Tomorrow, we're basically just going to hang out for like 15, 20 minutes, and then we're going to go right into Onimusha 2 HD, which will be...
I want to sit there and... I have a theory about this, and I may sit down and do a video on it. But I have a theory why he starts doing this whole shorter... Like, some days he'll have a podcast, and basically a daily therapy session is really what it is. And then some days he just gives you guys these, like, short pep talks, and then gets into it. I do have a theory behind that. I'll think of it further, and I'll probably just do, like, I'll name the segment later on or something. But I've been thinking about that a little bit. It's not working the way he thinks it is. It's really not. But I think I've got the groundwork down on why I think he's doing it.
Be the new playthrough for the week that you've been asking for now for several weeks. We're beginning it, so it's going to be like 4 hours of Onimusha 2 tomorrow. And tomorrow, if we hit all these goals, it will be DSP Tries It Mod Pizza after that stream. Okay? All right, folks. So thank you all. There will not be a podcast tomorrow, but I will return, and I will see you all this coming Wednesday for another awesome episode of the Level 1 Podcast. Thank you all. Peace out. Okay, so let's see how this is going to work, guys. And what I mean by that, all right, is looks different, doesn't it? The angle is significantly different than the old angle. I like this better. What do you guys think? It's more set back. It's more proper angled to me sitting here playing a game, as opposed to it used to be this weird angle with my head, you know, it was closer, too close. What do you think? Let's get all the lights off. But I think
that's another thing too, right? You know how people say that that detractors, trolls, haters, and critics live rent-free in Phil's head? This is just another example of that. He's been taking these criticisms for years, right? And he just memory holes all of it. Well, he immediately dismisses it. But he's actually sitting there stewing on this shit for fucking years. Instead of doing something about it, he would rather stew about it for years before finally fixing it. And then tries to pass it off to the dents. Like, oh, it's a revelation that he came through. And look at what he's doing for him. By him finally making these corrections years after the fact. Wild shit, man. This is just wild shit. It's not even, I can't even call it psychological manipulation because it's not. It's just, it's autistic as shit. And it just doesn't really make it, like he's hurting himself. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you're not getting over on anybody. You're not beating anybody. You're not convincing anybody. Or at least not anybody who matters. Because keep in mind, whenever DSP is wanting to dispel shit, I don't want you guys to be under the notion that he's trying to convince Dents that he's right. Because most of those mouth droolers will fucking go with it anyway. He's trying to convince his detractors. Like, that's literally what this whole shit's about. He spends more time trying to pander to or convince detractors than the Dents. Because the Dents are always going to show up anyway. I mean, sooner than later, most of them are going to drop off. But at the end of the day, truth be told, I don't even think they're really the target audience anymore, to some degree. And I think that's the reason why he keeps saying that he wishes he could, he should be able to profit off of these negative videos or whatever. Because that right there is where the money's at. That's where the quote unquote prominence is at. That's the target audience, I think. I think that's what he believes the target audience is his detractors, not the dents that show up. They're just part of the fucking studio audience and shit. You press a button and they all clap.
think this is an improvement. Yeah, you can actually see my torso now. Okay, real quick, I'm just gonna run and use the restroom, and then we're gonna start. How does the controller look? Nice and blue for blueprints. Yeah, look, it's weird though because it still catches some of the light, and look, it edits it out even though it's not green. I don't know why it does that. All right, real fast. I'm just gonna use the restroom, and then we're gonna begin. Be right back.
Okay. I don't care what anybody says, by the way. He bought that controller. He bought that controller. He did that shit. In the 50 Cent voice. He did that shit. He guilty as fuck. He Phil definitely did that shit. Oh boy. Fun times. Okay, so let's see. How are we gonna close this off? Let's go get a sandwich. Phil likes his sandwiches. Let's go get a sandwich. Let's do that. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Just a second. Okay, so final thoughts, and let you guys get out of here. Big ups to Raw Phil and big ups to Diggs. So, him enjoying editing, and him him enjoying editing and him understanding the process now, and he now has an appreciation for it, but he can't do it because he only has so much time in a day. This, that, and the third. That nonsense about KOGaming was demonetized, which it wasn't. Him admitting, basically what he did, him admitting that he fucked up with KOGaming initially after the Homefront Revolution video, where he should have put more time into getting more content out in a timely manner after the fact. him trying to promote the video to bring more attention to the channel. It took him 9 years, but he finally admitted it. The fact that he's still going off of 2016 ad revenue statistics, which makes no sense because he was part of Machinima at that time too. I left that out initially because I'm hoping some of you catch that. But he was part of Machinima at that time when we're talking about what he was making in ad revenue at that time. So that's a thing. So that's bullshit. I can't believe he did that shit, or at least admitted to it. His just genuine failure as a businessman, not just as a content creator, ladies and gentlemen, as a quote unquote businessman, DSP has failed, and he's failed miserably. And the fact that in a lot of ways you're seeing him own up to it. He admitted in this video to some extent that he wasted the last 15 years of his life doing this shit. He doesn't have anything to show for it. He first off lied and said that everything on DSP Gaming is monetized. That's not true. On top of that, but then he follows that up by saying, do you think that what I'm making in ad revenue on this channel is enough to make a living? It isn't. Okay, so you wasted your life then. Because it has no meaning to him outside of the money that it can bring in. Other than that, it doesn't have any value to him. And that in itself, it makes this even more fucking hilarious. You know what I'm saying? It's like a dying man who keeps thinking that, oh, I'm going to get out of bed tomorrow. I'm going to be okay the day after that. I'm going to be okay the day after that. And then he comes to the realization that, holy shit, I'm really going to die. There really isn't any getting away with this, or I'm going to recover, or I have more time. Nah, time's up. Time's up. Because DSP could have done what he needed to do, but as he admitted here, it's too much work. He's too lazy. He's too stupid. He's too lazy to put in the work. He's too stupid to learn. And that goes back damn near a decade. And he's hoping for that one big video that'll put him back on the map, and it's never going to show up. It's never going to come. It's never going to happen. Like his wife. It's never going to come. So, so he's hoping for that, and it's not a thing. It's not a thing. Even Pig Luck has its limits. And the limits are basically however long begging can carry him. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening in. I very much appreciate it. I'll catch you guys for the next one of these, whenever that may be. Hopefully, sooner than later. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Snort Report. This has been DSP News. Always late, never breaking. Unreliable coverage that you can't count on. Oh yes, a GTG Network and Productions for the Snort Report, as well as SnortBucks Coffee Company and Tim Snortons and Heart Snort Gin and Tonic, of course. I've been your host / anchor GTG, and I'm signing off. Take care of yourselves, my people. Take care of yourselves. Later.